you can choose your zone's name. Once you put in your zone name, then you have these options here. And remember I said you can put the start date as any time, right? So let's say you wanted to start 1 month before that. You key in 1 month before that and you submit. After you choose it, it goes to SENTEK software team. Then they accept it, payment happens, then the zone is created and you can see the NDVI. I'm not doing this now because I'll buy it for this. Yeah. So if I remember the pricing, it's $23 6 months for
23.
yes.
6 bulan tok, Bro.
$20
per 6 months.
And for meter
23
for 1 year.
25
23
23 23 6 bulan.
Enggak, $23 per 6 bulan.
Nah ya per 6 bulan.
345.000.
Iya.
Ikan
5,830 your money in your money.
Kalau yang tadi itu 600, 300.
In my money,
Yeah.
345 rupiah.
That's like something.
Facebook it.
Yeah.
15,000.
Ya sama seperti kita langganan inilah. Langganan apa IndiHome itu. IndiHome 335 itu speed.
So for those in
3,5 per bulan.
6 bulan, 6
Well,
months.
probably
23 US.
good to buy.
There is your key.
Very interesting, very interesting.
That's good to hear. Yeah, but like I said, we do integration of weather stations. We just need to know what outputs they have. And like I said, we're working with Galcon right now. Galcon and SENTEK. So if you use certain Galcon's irrigation system, if you
Yes.
remember Galileo and GSI, then our data can be uploaded in Galcon's interface in their platform. So yeah, so it depends obviously on who and what. But if you ever find out an your customer wants to use a soil profiling probe with their weather station irrigation system, just contact us and we'll find out if it's capable or not.
Okay.
Terence, anything from you? Any feedback?
Because we need strong support from you.
Stuff.
So far it's quite comprehensive.
Yep.
And I'll reserve some for Monday.
Yes. For market. Yes. Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. It's good we finally met. Thanks for staying in touch and contacting, organizing for the day. I think Nigel and I were speaking about this, but speaking with you guys has made us realize that in this sort of area, it's the customer base, our dealer base is a little bit different to how it works in Australia and US, where there's a lot of agronomy involved, obviously landscape and irrigation systems. So yeah, so that made us think that now we should try to tackle your market differently, in terms of presenting, maybe implementation of products and stuff. Even right before we came, we were talking with Peter about something in environment profiling. So, there's a lot of ways I think we should now try to branch out, So, yeah, speaking with you has given us that perspective. So, thanks for that.
Because the the biggest difference between Asia and maybe you talk about North America or Australia is how the market works and the cultural difference. So for the past maybe 8-9 years of getting in touch from both sides of the world, we start to realize that whatever works in North America, Europe, right, it may or may not work in Asia. So there's a different approach, and therefore we are always evolving and changing the way that we are looking at things. So a simple product, it can be used in many ways. So if we just based on one direction, one customer base, one industry, I think we are limiting ourselves to the possibility.
Yeah.
So with everyone coming together and talking, I think it's good that we broaden our perspective,
Yes.
horizon,
Yeah.
and maybe we can use it in other ways. Just like a simple valve. You need not always be an irrigation valve. It can be a water valve. It can be a valve for fire. It can be a valve for your home. A simple tap that you want to control on and off. Right? Maybe let's say there are people that stealing your water, so you want to install a irrigation system, right? To control when you release water from this tap. So at other time, people cannot access the water from you. Something like that.
Yeah.
So I think it's good that everybody come together and we think about more possibility of using the system, using the
Using the
equipment.
system.
Yeah, exactly. Anything, Desmond?
I will talk because I am the sales.
So like me.
Okay.
All the boss.
So,
She's the boss of the house.
yeah, I'm the boss of the house, right? I would like to say thank you for the DSR family, the group, because they're very hospitable to us, and the facilities they allow us to use here. We're very thankful for that. And then my two dealers as well, I'm very thankful, and to the SENTEK, our trainer. So from this training, we learned a lot. Being an Asian, we should not only continue to be in not to adapt the technology, because the technology will leave us behind. So we keep moving and we try to study on how we can adapt in our place, and then let's move forward. And then who knows, maybe we can cope up with the Western world. If we don't adapt them, then we don't have any hope. And then we can help. Especially my focus is the government. So the technology I learned from here, I will use it in the Philippines. I will try on how we can develop us with the farming, especially the rice field.
Yeah.
So I'm very thankful that this training come into reality, and I learned a lot. Thank you very much, especially this art.
Applause for yes. Very thank you.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, DSR team. We've been in touch for a couple of months. Special thanks to Risma, because I've
Yes.
annoyed her a lot. Messaging calls.
Thank
and
you for
whatnot.
food.
Yeah. And no, it's great. And I think we should have done this long ago. But things are changing now. And I hope this getting you guys here to come here and organize and spend some time shows me that we should be working with you guys. So we have dealers in Southeast Asia. All of them got the invite. Only you guys turned up. So that shows to us that these are the people we want to work with. And it's been a great positive experience for my end. First time trying to organize something and present something. So thank you, Nigel, for coming in last minute as well.
Can I just add thank you to you guys as well. Thank you for letting us walk around in your field here and stand on the corn. I hope we haven't cut any drip line.
So it won't tell you which exact plant, but again, if you know the area, when you go and walk into the site,
Yeah,
you'll
that's
find
right.
out.
Yeah. It's going to give you more information.
Yeah.
Okay, Vikram, what is the difference between NVVI and then Meteor Blue?
Meteor Blue.
Yes.
Okay. Meteor Blue is just a weather station which gives you your weather data, like wind speed, evapotranspiration, humidity, temperature,
Forecast,
and forecast for
Forecast.
next 7 days.
7 days.
For next 7 days.
And you should that area or
Yes, for your selected area. So let's say you want to find for Malang. So we try to find a weather station near Malang which Meteor Blue has access to, and we give you the data. Obviously, it won't be as accurate as your weather station here, but let's say you have a customer that just wants to know. He doesn't want to buy a weather station, he just wants to have a rough idea, right? And the beauty about this is you can copy and paste the data into your graph, so you can see everything synchronized.
So better when we using NVVI, better we use Meteor Blue also.
Yes, I mean, like the examples which I showed you, those guys did both. They did get an EPI and Arrow. They're PepsiCo, so they would make something. one of the India ones, research, Pakistan, they bring actual production.
You would
Um,
put in the brochure.
But well, it really depends on the end of the day. Look, I think if it is important to have rainfall and at least temperature data, because as I showed you in these graphs which we made together, you will get your readings more accurately to know what your rainfall is for that day. And that data is always collected. So you collect it from the past, you have it as an access to it. So let's say your subscription ends. You don't lose the data. The data is still there, it just doesn't continue. Yeah. So again, it's
Do you have
example?
yes,
Yep.
example for Meteo Blue?
Sure. So so in this example which I showed right after our break just now, right? So you see here, this is 80 rainfall. This is the soil moisture rate. Let's see if you like. Oh, do I have permission now? Oh, I have permission now. Earlier I didn't have permission. Oh, so I just want to show you here that. Okay. All right. So in this you can see that there's a rainfall data up here and your ET data up here. This both have been copied from the Meteor Blue, which is this one. So they copied from here and pasted in that graph here. So this is Meteor Blue. See? So you have your wind direction, wind speed, humidity, ET, rainfall temperature. So that you get this
So all of the information is always graphic here.
is
It's always graphic mode.
yes, like this
Yeah.
one. Yes.
So click the graphic.
Cukup.
You want numbers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Semua
You-
harus terbaca di
we
satu
can't-
grafik.
We can't do
Baca di satu
numbers,
grafik.
I don't think. We can do bars, but not numbers. Numbers.
So what is the forecast for 7 days?
Oh, this is it's there.
Which one?
See, because this is from December to May. Okay, so I've shown 180 days. Let's say I go all data.
Memang forecast tiap 7 hari itu. Kalau
This is from
Ukurannya itu dari
oh 7 hari.
this is from
Oh.
March. Okay. Now let's go 14 days as of today.
Oke.
That is what you get. So this blue line you see here, that is the next 7 days. This is yeah.
It's a powerful software,
Yeah.
Yeah.
automated.
It's automated and like I said,
Hmm.
it's only $23 a year. $23 a year.
That are max.
This one, yes. Yes.
Just,
Still not yet discount.
just the major.
Still not discount.
The idea is we are not it's an addition to your soil moisture data. What we specialize in is monitoring what's happening under the ground.
Oh.
But let's say if someone doesn't want to spend thousands of dollars on weather stations, I know it's amazing. But let's say someone doesn't want to spend thousands of dollars on those or spend a lot of money on satellite imagery, then because they want to monitor what's below, focus on that, then you can just purchase these additions, which cost really nothing compared to how much you would have invested in a probe anyways, and you get those information on those two things. Yeah.
So Meteo Blue is only the software or applications or device with the device.
within
Or both NDVI, Meteor Blue, no device.
Device.
No device.
So web
You don't have to buy anything, it's just the software.
So how can you forecast about the weather, about the anything for the 7 days?
Because Meteor Blue collects data from the closest weather station around your location, and it gives the prediction of that. So again, like I said, if you go on the maps, it will show you where they're collecting it from. It won't give you accurate data as you have over here, but if let's say if it's only a couple of kilometers away, then you gauge whether if you don't have money to spend, don't want money to spend, but you still want to have these sort of data information, then you can buy it. So again, it's like let's say you meet a customer that he doesn't want to spend. Let's say he's buying our soil moisture probes, thank God, right? But he doesn't want to buy a weather station or whatnot for some reason. Let's say.
It gives him
Then-
a guesstimate.
Yeah, then you just this gives you it's not the most accurate, but it's not wrong either. It would be it is giving for that particular region. It's like the rainfall for Malang, let's say, right? Now rainfall for Malang won't be the same over here. It might be in the remote area. But in general, you get principle which is good to use is you want to put your probe where 80% of your field, it represents 80% of your field.
Yes.
Because you don't want to put a probe where there's no crops growing, it's not a zone where you're going to do any sort of harvest, there's no point for that.
Yes.
So you want to find a site selection as well where it represents majority of your field.
Yes.
So that you can use that data and the irrigation you use for that and use that system in the other
Yep.
79, 80%
Yes.
of the field.
So then, after you've done the season or whatever, and you say, well, then you can see that the production is lower in this
Yeah.
corner here, you can suggest,
Yeah.
maybe we put another one in this corner and just
Yeah.
see what's happening.
Yeah, yeah.
Or we
Practicalities.
dig a hole.
Yeah. Practicality is important too.
Yeah.
You 80% of your field, you don't want to make it too difficult for people to go and upload the data or whatever you're doing. You want to be,
Yeah.
In a representative position that's easy to get out.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
And another thing which we do, I definitely do is anytime someone asks me, oh, how many probes,
Yeah.
I try to get past MDVI data if they're a smart farm, past crop yield data, what is the soil composition of your whole field, how does your plantation look like, is there a slope, which side is the sun facing, all these sort of things play a role.
Yes.
So you can't just go and plug in a probe because it will give you data, but what are you actually collecting? You
Yes.
need to have a bit of understanding.
How
So-
is it representing?
Yeah, yeah. So that's where these sort of knowledge comes into play. You need to make sure you collect as much information. I'm sure Risma, you guys have been harassed by me because I'm always asking, what's the crop type, what's the soil type, But you need that information to understand how the installation will work, how the water will be moving through the soil profile. Otherwise, you're just not collecting. You're just collecting data without understanding what it means. So yeah, I always try to get information because at the end of the day, we're not agronomists, so we can't give any agronomy advice per se. But even if you want to push them to a certain direction, you need to have a good amount of understanding what is happening in the field. Yeah.
Yep. Thank you.
the best fertilizer is the farmer's shadow. So to be out in the crop.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Which is it's interesting. A lot of people want to make it very automated and don't want to visit the field, which, in my opinion, is very risky. Just from studying agriculture science in Australia, the amount of diseases and pests you can see in production, which looks amazing,
Yes.
is just like you want to be in the field. You want to know
Yes.
what's happening.
It's like working in a factory unless you walk around and see what's happening.
Yeah.
Where the weak spots are.
Yeah,
You've got no
exactly.
hope of managing.
Exactly. Like I'm sure Nigel, in your experience, you can see crops that have grown well, but they're just infested with diseases on the fruit, and the quality of the fruit is just gone, and then that's a lot of money lost.
Yes.
It'll go in a lower grade if it goes to any grade. So yeah, so it's important to visit the field. Yeah.
It's not drill, drop and forget.
Yeah.
And I guess that's where you get longevity out of the equipment as well, because you're maintaining it, you're keeping the area clear, and that's where you get extended life
Yeah.
from the probes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Any more questions?
So if we want to use this feature for any VDI, we have to subscribe first for the feature.
Yeah. So essentially, I can show you. Can I log into your account just to show us?
Irinex.
Yes.
Okay. Sudah belum?
So this is the garlic one, which is from New Zealand, from what I understand. Look at that. That's a pivot. Wow, it's beautiful. Anyways, so let's say let's try to find where we are sort of
orang Arab dulu kita bisa bahasa yang lain.
Okay, we're not going to be in Malang, we're going to be in someone else's home. But let's say I want to take, oh god, okay. Well, let's say I want to create a new zone, and I click this, I draw this, draw this, draw that, and that.
Oh, so we can do by it ourselves, yeah.
Yes, yes. Oh, sorry. Right, okay, so I'm just going to save changes.
Okay.
Do you have permission? Why don't you have permission? Okay, I'm not sure why that. But if you go order satellite images, you create a zone, and what will happen is if you go in there, it will show you the pricing. So let's see. I can't do it because I don't.
Working area.
No, it's a social service that they buy, that they
Kapan
actually,
kalau kasih?
it's using, it looks like Google Earth.
Just give me a second, let me try.
Laser imagery,
Bisa.
like
Sama dia nanti bisa. The client cannot access we can because we have to know about the analysis, but we just plotting the area
Yes,
and then we inform to you,
yes,
and all of the data will created by the satellite.
yes. You don't even need to inform me. You can actually purchase the NDVI by yourself. As a dealer, you have that privilege.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I don't want to show it, but essentially you go into the map and you create new zone. When you go new zone, you choose the plot, then you add.
Okay.
Yeah, then you add. So you don't even need us, but because that's the privilege you want to give as a dealer. So your customer, if they say you want NDVI, you can just immediately choose it, and then the payment happens, and then done. That's it.
Oh,
how does the cost structure, is it on area or?
No, it's just by the amount of. It's a subscription base, so 6 months. So for 6 months, we charge for dealers $23.
Okay.
I think for Meteor Blue, it's 1 year $23. NDVI for 6 months is $23. Another thing with the NDVI is, let's say I want to check the NDVI of your peanut crop, right? Over here. But now it's almost, your peanut crop is growing and I don't know what it looked like before. But that's fine because you can say, let's say you planted your peanut crop 2 months ago. So I can tell the NDVI I want the image to start 2 months ago. It would have already recorded some pictures from 2 months ago till now. So you have your past NDVI already, and then you move on from the current one. Yeah.
Very clever, yeah.
Foto udara,
Iya.
yang sawit, soil analysis sekarang.
So can handle how many maximum of the area
Coverage.
coverage area?
You're talking about NDVI?
Yes.
The coverage.
As much as you want. The bigger the plot, the better. I've had issues where someone is asked, like your plot, for example, I wouldn't recommend NDVI. It's too small, so they can't. It's the satellite can't take a real accurate image. I faced that issue with a research group in India. They wanted NDVI, and it's too small. The app it won't work.
So if we're talking about the maximum and minimum area,
Yeah.
how many? The minimum.
What's the number?
Yes.
I don't remember.
But this is small, yeah.
Yeah, this is a bit small. Yeah. We could try, but I wouldn't recommend. I mean, not that we can't do it because it's pretty straightforward. So, but it won't give an accurate image. It may not even give an image to begin with. That's the issue I face. They were not even giving an image. So wait, actually, I'll show you what we did. Yeah.
Okay.
So.
Kalau yang lebar mungkin ya pakai kabel itu dia. Yang Bluetooth ya nih ya.
Okay.
Enggak kena alat.
Nggak kena alat?
Nggak ada alat, ada meloting area punya kita. Di plotting, ukuran ya kan sudah di titik kan Google Earth.
Ya.
Gue langsung dikirim nang DE.
Oh.
DE sing nggarap nang kantor.
It cannot be in the background, the Google Earth.
Brown?
Yeah, no, it cannot be in the background of the area.
Well,
Satellite image.
that's what we did. So, this one, it's a research group. They wanted to do this blue zone.
Oke.
When I tried to do it, it would not work. It would not show anything. So what we agreed was we'll do it for the whole research plot. So we did that, right? And then this blue area, we mark it, we give it a different zone so that we know that's where the probes are. Yeah. So
The
we
blue
could,
one is too small.
yeah, too
So we
small.
can also you create
We
the
could
last
use the
one.
whole field and then
Upgrade,
we mark
yeah.
the blue one. Yeah.
Upgrade.
Yeah. So
So you could mark the client's whole property basically.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
and then
Yeah,
work
you
in-
can choose, yeah.
work in
I had to get the software team to help me. I can't remember off the top of my head if I can do it or not, but I guess that can be figured out. It's fine. But yeah, so that can be done. How big is you want to use it for this field?
The another
The Padang one?
Yes.
How big is that one? Padang.
Berapa ya? 20 hektar. 20 hektar ya? 20 hektar.
20 hectares.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, I think you just give it to me, and then we'll see.
Oke.
We'll try to work something out. Yeah.
Tanah lu Yon yang di Kuningan Yon.
Tanahnya Barsmith.
Oh.
Tanahnya Barsmith.
Yeah, any other questions? Yeah, so that's the meteor blue. Yeah, I've noted down how did they get the ED, because since you brought up that question. Yeah, I haven't found out yet, but we'll find that out. And yeah, trying to think if there's anything else, but no, I think it's, yeah, covered everything I feel like I needed to. So, no more questions. Any questions on anything? Installation, products, field days, anything? Any questions?
When you're starting off with
Yes.
the product,
Yes.
any recommendations on how to go about selecting a property to start your work on?
Like site selection?
You know, what's a good place to start?
Yeah, yeah. That's Nigel. I think one thing we should do is we should have a PPT on this because it's such a detailed.
On the NGDI.
No, on site selection. Site selection because there's a lot of agronomy
Yeah.
background knowledge. Lot going on here. So we go talk to Potter. He has big readings over here. And from this is the way you wanted your graphs to show. So that's what we were talking about, which is it gives you the actual value and not in terms of your the position of your group. It's more about the data itself. River transmission has been collected from meteor blue. Rainfall has been collected from meteor blue. So if you remember, I mentioned that you can copy the graph which you saw on meteor blue, which was the 5 different graphs. You can literally copy it, paste it here, and then now you can compare your data with your ET and rainfall. So that makes it just much more easier to understand if a particular day your water content has gone up. Is it because it's low ET because there was a cloudy day, or was there rainfall, was it irrigation, or so on. And okay, I might as well explain this bit here. So with what do you mean? I have permission. Okay. Apparently I don't have permission. But if we were to expand this graph, you can see that these blue and red lines here. So our software team is right now developing an algorithm to detect waterlogging stages based on past readings. So if you key in the right amount, make sure you put the right water holding thresholds, after a few times it starts to detect and understand what is the actual reading, and in the future it can give you that prediction as well. And that's the same with the red one, which is a stress one as well. So it'll be a point where we hope that you probably don't even need to choose, because the AI will detect itself based on past readings and information you're going to give it. But that is not a feature available yet. Even I don't have access to that. But since it's here, I just thought I'll tell them, yeah, maybe sometime next year it'll be a new feature. And I just wanted to show as well. So I mentioned about the water. Sorry. Let me come out of it. Yeah. So I had mentioned about how you can collect the waterfall and EP and stuff. So this is the exact same rainfall we saw in the previous graph. It is collected from this weather station, and all you have to do is just copy, go into this graph and paste it. So that's the idea of having V2 and NDVI, which is just to add more to your data. Now with this example, I wanted to show how we use mapping. So this grower has allowed us to share his data with us, because we do a lot of research project with him. This is down at near McLaren Vale, which is the wine area, and he grows a lot of wines down here. Sorry, Barossa Valley up there. And
What the greens meaning, zero
Yeah.
meaning? What is the meaning?
grapes.
No.
The numbers.
Rain.
Different colors, right?
The colors.
Yes.
Okay, I'll show you. So let's say we want to look at this 8 over here. This means in this particular view, there's about 8 probes in there with readings. So if you zoom in, you can see the numbers increase. So now you see that, okay, these are the numbers right now for these particular probes, and these are the numbers for these probes. So the green means it's in the green zone, which is it's in the right water content stage. The red means it's stress, and yellow is onset of stress. The reason it's a lot of red is because the viticulture season has ended already, so all crops are harvested and there's nothing there. But let's say if I click on this, on the 4, and that 4 became into percentages now. And you can see over here that you can put it for each paddock with whichever field, and you get the readings for it. So let's say we do this, and if I don't know what he has here, but I hope it's good data, and it is good data. So you see over here, and since it's viticulture, it's pretty much similar to the same example. Water content is high here, purposely brings it down towards the end of the growing stage, increase sugar concentration, it goes on. So this is one of the map features we have. So every time you put in a probe, it will give, you can go to your map and then select it to showcase on Google Maps here. I haven't taught you that just because I don't want to overwhelm all of you. But like I mentioned, in a couple of weeks time we are announcing the learning platform, and in that learning platform we are we're going to have a lot of videos and resources for training Airmax Live and so on. So that will help you and show you that you can do all of this as well. But another thing I want to show you is NDVI. So if I go here, so this is the weather station, which apparently is in this area, and well, it's supposed to be this paddock. It hasn't been recorded for some time. But if I right click and I go to zones and I click this, okay, it took me to another place, but when I click NDVI, you can see that this is the NDVI as of April 17. So if we click here, we can see that this is the NDVI that has happened over time period. So if I'm not wrong, they just started planting over here, and that's why it's all red, because it's bare soil, and the NDVI is low here. But then as you click right, you see 2 days later, and okay, I'll just show this instead. You can see over time it starts increasing, the color starts becoming brighter, becomes more green, and that's when it's doing well. This is potatoes, but unfortunately there was a pretty big frost season that happened in this part of Pakistan, so they lost all their crops. Yeah,
And I think now they started planting something else, but I'm not 100% sure, but it's showing we're showing the data for that. So this is the NDVI reading we have. But you, like I said, you can have your other ones which are NDRE, REC, L, but that depends on your end user. Maybe they're most.
Yo, today we just studying together.
So the concept is time to
Maybe a bit too much agronomy for you guys, but I think it's good to have an idea, understanding. So when it comes to marketing these things, it will be easier. So if you have some people who have the agronomic knowledge, they can promote this well. So that's the idea. So I'll just explain some of the other usages we have for Airmax Live. So one of the things, well, obviously you know our sensors can provide is the salinity. So that's the tri-scan probe which can measure moisture, temperature and salinity. But we haven't really discussed or worked with any Airmax Live data on it, so I just thought it'd be good to show. So what we measure is the volumetric ionic content. So that just basically means how much salt is present in the ground. And when we talk about fertilizers are generally they have ionic content, so they are kind of like salt, right? So when you apply a fertilizer, and usually when you apply it, if it can be dry, it can be liquid, but even if it's dry, you have to make it wet to become dissolved, right? So your graph over here can calculate the fertilizer amount that has been applied. So in this example, you can see that it's a 30 centimeter, and at this particular day, this grower has added 50 pounds of nitrogen. And what has happened is, obviously nitrogen is a very mobile nutrient. So when he would have applied it, it would have been in liquid form, would have gone down the soil, and you can see how deep it has gone, with most of it going the top two layers, right? And then you can see over time, he hasn't done anything much with it until the end of the month, where he has reapplied the same amount. So what he has done is, he has seen that, okay, this is the time I want to apply, he applied it, and then as time progressed, when he goes back to the same amount, he applies it again. So this gives you an idea of understanding when to apply and how much your salts are moving down the profile. So it gives you a good idea. So maybe old tradition is you do it every week or every 2 weeks, but when you can really see how it's moving down the profile, I think that's a better indicator of managing your fertilizer input. And just to showcase as well, you can see that when he applies the fertilizer, that the water content has gone up as well for that day. This is hidden. This is also hidden, but yeah, you can see it here. So that shows that he would have had to make this fertilizer into liquid form. Now another thing we can do is we can show 2D profiling, and this is more for research. So these are the EnviroScan probes, and what they've done is they've placed the probes just right next to each other, and they've measured the movement of water across the soil profile. So you can see that most of the water using this indicator here are in the lower zone. So that shows that the water goes down very quickly and it moves towards this direction. So that is where the origin dripper is, and I think it's to this side. So you can see that the liquid is flowing down here because that's how the soil profile is. And similarly, you can even see the salinity on the side. And that shows also how much of the ionic content is in line with the dripper and the probes itself. So a lot of this is being done in research. Right now we don't have that on Airmax Live, but we can only do it on Airmax Desktop, but it is a feature we're adding to Airmax Live, so it should be coming out very soon. I won't go too much into this, but essentially we've spoken about this before. It's again about understanding your soil profile. This is a sandy soil, and when it gets irrigated, you can see the water has just gone straight down. And if you compare the probe alongside from the dipper,
Okay, I'll inform you.
when you can compare the probe side from its dripper, you can see that at 20 centimeters, it is fluctuating a lot. But when it's 60 centimeters away from the dripper, you don't get the most accurate data. And that's because the soil is a sandy soil, so the water just flows downwards. is another example showcasing, I don't know if the video is playing, it's not playing for some reason, but essentially what the video would show is that that's where the dripper is that placed probes 80 centimeters away on the left and the right, and you can see that the water moves like this, which is pretty cool because that shows that while your topsoil may not get water, your 40 and 80 centimeters per year, but when it is, but in the lower part of the soil, it can actually use up the water. Oh, see, so there it's playing. So you can see that majority of the water accumulates in the middle zone here. And it seems like there's probably another dripper somewhere here, so the water is moving here. But you can see as well it moves towards the sides as well. Now this one Nigel has run through as well. He was talking about how growers can use these yellow zones to understand that they're stressing the crop purposely but increasing the sugar content of the grapes or trying to avoid diseases for the potato crops. So I just thought I would showcase this here again, just showcasing that you can make smart decisions in terms of improving crop quality. So soil temperature is another thing we haven't really talked about, but we have had growers that have used temperature as a way to prevent any diseases from happening. So Irigasi is a disease that happens a lot in Australia, and usually these are the thresholds it's in and up and lower. So what they would try to do is they try to avoid it. So the ideal conditions are 12 to 15, so they've put markers over here. And what they've done is that they've measured the temperature at this particular depth because that's where it affects the roots. And they have tried to avoid to be in this zone for as much as they can. So usually on hotter days it goes up, but then if they want to cool down the soil, then they water more, so they manage the irrigation that way to avoid
Ya
diseases.
ideal ini ya, tapi ya berat. Kita aja cari
Okay.
27.
So these are some of the additional features we also have, along with your Remax Live, which we're partnered with other
Ya
companies.
ideal.
So one of them is the satellite imagery. So in this one, this is the NDVI one. I should have used an updated one, but it's okay. I'll just use this. This is the same example Nigel and I ran yesterday, where he used NDVI.
In Java, you will irrigate like this one, and when we go to the other region like Nusa Tenggara, their evapotranspiration can be reached 5.5, 5.8. It's not much like Qatar. And that is arid, like you said, very hard. And why soil sensor is important? Because the most important, we irrigate is not the plant, we irrigate the soil, basically. The real one, we irrigate the soil. So we must to know how much percentage of the percentage we must to provide in the soil. So automatic weather station is only, evapotranspiration is only how much we must to calculate. But they're not designed when. Say when, in my opinion, is the soil sensor. That is my opinion. When this is must irrigate, when you stop, when you starting. So this is, like I said to Risma, this is the what I teaching is very hard for evenly the college guys, is how to manage this, because they not usually, evenly the bachelor guy, is hard to know how to calculate this, and that is important evenly for farmer, because 100 years ago or 50 years ago when our grandfathers don't know about this one, basically. So this is, in my opinion, is it must be continuous for the data.
Yeah.
Correct. That is my opinion, because without data we cannot present anything.
No.
As a sales, we only selling. We are not, like I said to my sales, we are not sales of insurance, only selling a dream, only selling a papers. We selling a data, basically like that. So that is what in our irrigation we selling a data.
Ya.
This one, you must should be irrigation. This one, and that is when DSR selling is always like that. Unlucky. That is Pak Iksan agronomy. Risma also agronomy. Risma also agronomy, myself also agronomy, he also agronomy, basically like that. Vic, you agronomy, right? So I have a lot of agronomy, and our customer is agronomy, sir. in like Tadeco.
Yeah.
Oh, uh, the manager in there's name is Jerry. Do you know him? His name is good agronomy. He's always talk about how much water applied in the drip and how much evapotransport. He put the sensors in the middle of the tree, in the top of the tree, basically like that, because only collect the data. Basically like that. That is, as I know, you have a best banana plantation in the world.
Mm.
Banana and pineapple.
Pineapple, basically like
They
that.
have, I think, 100 hectares for the dome. 100 hectares.
Where?
In
Tadeco, 5,800 hectares. I know very well about Tadeco.
5,800.
In one plot.
Yeah.
In one plot.
One farm.
yeah,
One farm.
Yes, one farm.
5,800. They are the biggest in the world.
Okay.
For one plot.
And it's,
Yep.
it's,
For
a,
one plot.
it's a big company that started in the Philippines and now is owned by Japanese
Now by
interests.
Japan?
Dole.
Yeah.
Dole, that is Dole.
Dole.
That's Dole,
Dole.
yeah.
Dole.
And
So
then
Dole is, I think, if you visit Dole, as far as your eyes can see, those are
Bananas.
No,
Pineapples.
pineapple.
and,
Just
and
pineapple.
where and in between where
Just near-
it won't
just
grow
near our
pineapple, thousands of acres of banana.
And next is banana.
Yeah. There is the in Tadeco have a lot of basically like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know Philippines very well. Only 3 times I'm there, and Tadeco have a lot of good agronomy, and their plantation is a clean,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
clean. Banana plantation, the cleanest as I know, is there.
You cannot see any
No
weeds.
weeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No leaves, just very clean.
Yep.
And then you can say what I can see is that they make some small irrigation.
Canals.
Drainage.
Yeah,
For
small
drainage.
drainage.
Yeah.
And then banana. Then
But that is not
drainage.
small, ma'am. As I know, I cannot jump it. It's 2 meters.
Yeah.
It's 2 meters, and the dip is
Yeah.
more deep than me.
So just really, really well managed.
Oh yeah.
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 They're top producer of banana and pineapple.
And I'm thinking that with a little bit more technology, we might be able to make them even better.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have
So-
25 kgs now.
So we have new product now that is a commercial drone that is going to use a spray the banana that can carry 15 liters of 55 liters of
Whatever.
yeah.
Water falling to
The
the ground. So
Yeah.
it's ideally you should have a weather station for your own place.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'm not sure how they do the ET is it's probably some satellite.
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know how they do the ET, but because it has to do with evaporation and transport. Yeah, so it'll have to be some sort of from
uh,
what I know is
wind.
Yeah.
Then heat flux.
heat flux. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I know that sometimes weather stations have like a pan or something that collects the water and then somehow compares. I don't know. But
Well, it's quite a different system that they set up. They have some like upside down weather sensor, a solar irradiance sensor, measure the irradiance that bounces back from the ground. There's a heat flux sensor, and all these I think probably fit into
Yeah.
formulas, and then you get the evaporation.
There's I think it's a French company that put those, if you call them upside down sensors, using lasers up into the
Oh,
and collecting.
that's I think that one is scintillometer. That's to if you have a big piece of land, you can have like one sensor pointing a laser.
These
It's
are pointing straight up
No, because
because they give us
I
our
think
ionospheric.
ET, you want to see how much that water evaporates from here.
Yeah.
So if you look up straight, you can't see the profile. So you want a profile of horizontal profile of across the line. How much? What is the ET? But that's really expensive advice that I don't think typical farmers would do it. But most agriculture sites, I think they will use that with weather stations, heat flux sensors, or there's another device called lysimeter. I only know the terms. Effectively, how they work is, again, they have got sensors measuring how much water goes inside, and then I think they measure the weight of the water left after a day, and then they work out using some formulas.
And for the developing countries, you don't need one at everybody's site. You could put these at regional centres
That's
type
right.
thing, and then feed that data back out to all the farmers, and it's going to be 10 times more accurate than a guess.
Yes.
Yeah,
But it's
yes,
not
like
going to
better
be
than nothing.
exactly site specific. And gradually, I guess people, the sensors and stuff will get cheaper and whatever, and everybody can have a little one that goes in like you can.
Yep. So where would the nearest government?
Have it. It's around 10. Oh no. 10 kaki. 3 kilometers from here.
10 kilometers?
3.
3 kilometers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing with that is, with the meteor blue, is you can collect that rainfall data. So you literally, it shows you in this sort of format, like that format, 5 of them, and you have for your site, so you can just copy it, come to your graph and put it here, and then you can just compare day by day, and you can see. So yeah, it just gives you a better way of seeing what's happening.
So you are saying that the software or device that you just mentioned, it can actually calculate ET and give you the data.
Yeah.
You don't calculate ET, right? You take the ET value and feed into your formula or your graph.
No, I don't think so. I think they calculate ET. I'm not.
Because
I can't
currently
remember.
I'm doing a consulting project in Dubai, Expo City. So they have a system called the LEED, L-E-E-D, a LEED design. So inside the LEED design there is a formula that I'm expected to fill in rainfall as well as ET. So rainfall is easy, right? You can grab rainfall from weather station all over the world. But when you come to ET, there is no data that is available anywhere. The only way to do it is by doing certain formula, and the formula is very complex.
Yeah.
It's not so straightforward. So the easiest way for me is I just grab the rainfall, then I do a certain coefficient, my K factor, then I just multiply it, and there comes my ET. But after you do that, you realize it's very stupid, because your ET is either 0 or 0.1, 0.2.
Yeah.
So it doesn't make sense. So I went back to the lead consultant, and I tell them, I say, okay, this is as best as we can give you, but it doesn't mean anything to you. You know, so in Dubai, Qatar, they wanted to be water efficient, so they tell us your irrigation should conserve water up to 60%. If anything that is not consuming more than 60%, then it's not a good irrigation design. But I just have to tell them that if you base on this data, then it's pure stupid. You know.
So you will visit Philippines water just running.
There wouldn't be too many days when it rains, would there?
No, exactly. So the application rate will be very high, and evaporation rate will be very high. So they wanted to know what is the ET, but what's the point?
Yeah.
You know, when you have such a low rainfall with high evaporation rate, then what you can do is you just keep applying water.
Yeah.
Nothing much you can do,
And
they are-
watch it go through the profile.
yeah, and they are very sandy base.
Yeah.
So whatever you apply, it goes straight through.
Yeah.
So you can just do maybe 3 times a day
Yeah.
or 4 times a day. You have to do it in regular basis.
We'll follow up exactly how that's that
Yeah.
value's been calculated.
Yeah.
So if that is something that really can materialize, then I think that's the answer.
Yeah.
Then I don't have to go through that agony of going
Yeah.
through the formula.
Yeah.
So are you entering those values manually?
Yeah, I calculated every single month.
Yeah.
For 1 year. So but that is based on rainfall. You know,
Only rainfall.
only rainfall. Because there's no way for me to extract any other information. I just take rainfall, multiply by maybe 0.6.
Why they don't have any automatic weather station?